has supported. Yeah, I mean he's an interesting guy, man, because he's so friendly.
Right.
You know, like even like when people are trash talking, he's like smiling, and then he gets in that ring.
Kick your ass later.
Different dude.
You know, and
seeing him beat Keith Thurman at 40 years old, like, God, this guy's great. I mean, just look at his career with 8 different weight classes, world titles eight different weight classes. 40 years old, beats Keith Thurman, who's in his prime.
Right.
Crazy. I mean, what a man. It's the first. I mean, Manny went up 8 weight classes.
Yeah.
And kept his knockout power.
He's fighting as a little boy and then just was like
crazy.
Nobody saw Manny Pacquiao's return coming. Not now, not like this. Boxing fans woke up to headlines that felt unreal. At 46 years old, Pacquiao is stepping back into the ring, not for an exhibition or charity event, but for a real sanctioned world title fight against Mario Barrios, young, sharp, active, and the WBC welterweight champion. And when Joe Rogan weighed in, his reaction wasn't polite or sugar-coated, but it wasn't
Manny
dismissive
Pacquiao,
either.
in the middle of his prime, said, "I'm going to fight MMA." That would be insane. And you'd probably get his face kicked off. Probably get strangled. Probably get taken down, strangled, and he would be helpless. It's a different skill set. There's so much more to MMA.
In a sport where legends usually fade quietly, Pacquiao came back like thunder. To some, it's madness. To others, destiny. Fans aren't just watching a fight. They're watching either a resurrection or a reckoning. Can the legend rise again, or will the future crush him? This isn't just another matchup. It's a question echoing across gyms and podcasts. Can Manny Pacquiao still win, or is this the night the dream ends?
Listen, you are an all-time great and legend of the sport, a Hall of Famer. Why return? Why not just go pursue other things? If anything, do those little cheap expedition fights that you did last year, or those that are similar to that of what Floyd Mayweather keeps doing.
Pacquiao's legacy doesn't need another chapter. 8 divisions, 70 fights, Hall of Fame status already secured. Yet weeks before his induction, he laces the gloves one more time. Some call it ego, others say unfinished business. At 46, he isn't just fighting Mario Barrios. He's fighting time, critics, and gravity. Barrios, 28, fresh off a winning streak and newly crowned champion, didn't hesitate when Pacquiao's name appeared. For him, this isn't just a defense. It's a chance to stamp his name in history. July 19th isn't just a fight date. It's a moment. Fans are flying in from everywhere. Filipino flags flood Las Vegas. Old posters return to walls. Families are passing boxing memories from one generation to the next. And Pacquiao isn't returning alone. Manny Pacquiao Jr., just 23, will make his pro debut on the same card. One era steps out as another steps in.
Félix, el de rojo, y otra vez el gancho. Tiene que estar llaveando y también aprovechando. Que es ¡Vámonos a la lona con la derecha, la zona de las costillas, la izquierda.
So he's got to be careful. He's looking at that head jab forward and Noah's taking it with that.
Pacquiao Jr., trained by Freddie Roach and Marvin Somodio, enters with a modest amateur background, but no one is watching his record. They're watching the legacy. Some say it's too soon. Others say it's destiny. Meanwhile, the undercard brings its own fire. Sebastian Fundora versus Tim Tszyu in a heated rematch, and Isaac Pitbull Cruz rumored to face Angel Fierro, bringing relentless pressure fans
when you
love.
look at that, they're giant. They're like a thigh.
And I know the reason why, because in General Santos, the mountains that he runs and that steep hill, that's why they're so big, because he's always constantly running mountains, and I was doing the mountain runs with him.
Yeah.
Top to bottom, July 19th feels like a farewell concert with a glimpse of the future. A father, a son, and one last shot at glory. Pacquiao trains like few men his age ever could. Where most fighters slow down, he still explodes off the line, throws sharp combinations, and moves with surprising intensity. And as Joe Rogan has said before, there's something special in the roots of General Santos. Even in his mid-40s, Pacquiao's footwork tells a different story than his age. Recent training clips went viral not because he looked young, but because he looked dangerous. The bounce, the speed, the burst are still there. But sparring isn't fight night, and behind every explosive moment lies the tough question. Can his legs carry him through a war? Mario Barrios isn't flashy. He doesn't trash talk. He doesn't need to. His style is clean, patient, and deceptively sharp. You look up and you're already behind on points. He pivots, counters, and forces mistakes. He's not just strong. He's disciplined. At 28, he's right in his prime.
Everything that played into that fight. It did bring a lot of attention, and I think it was the perfect fight fit for that fight.
Against Yugas, Pacquiao looked hesitant and a step slow. Barrios doesn't hesitate. He brings volume, pressure, and confidence that doesn't fade in the late rounds. While the spotlight sits on Pacquiao, Barrios has been quietly preparing for the biggest night of his career, treating
boxing,
it strictly
not
as
only
business.
because of our own ability, but because of your promotion of this boxing event. Thank you so much, media and press.
He doesn't just want to win. He wants a clean, decisive victory. Because if Barrios beats Pacquiao, he doesn't just defeat a legend. He closes a chapter of boxing history. And before any punch is thrown, the psychological battle is already underway. Pacquiao remains calm, silent, and composed. No trash talk, no ego, just focus and faith. And that calmness can rattle
Manny
opponents before
Pacquiao,
the
in the
bell
middle of his
even
prime,
rings.
said, "I'm going to fight MMA." That would be insane, and you'd probably get his face kicked off.
Barrios remains respectful, but the pressure shows between words. He isn't just fighting Pacquiao. He's fighting the weight of beating a global icon. Pacquiao, meanwhile, is steady. He's walked this road countless times. He prays, smiles, and stays gentle outside the ring, then becomes a storm when the bell rings. That contrast
Of course
is
he
what
is.
makes him
Yeah,
dangerous.
That's something
crazy.
that you can't take
Kind of amazing, that he still guarantees that many eyeballs.
Before this fight, plenty of opponents said the right things. So did Thurman. So did Cotto. What makes Pacquiao different is how he turns silence into strategy. Joe Rogan has watched Pacquiao's career unfold from the early days, and now he finds himself torn between admiration and realism. Pacquiao is still a miracle of athleticism, but he's also
WBC,
46
as you
in a
said,
young
it's a
division.
shoe-in. It's a big money maker. It's utterly and totally wrong. I have nothing more to say about it.
Rogan doesn't doubt Pacquiao's heart. What he questions is the cost. Behind the training clips are years of mileage, wars, and damage that don't show up in highlights. Still, he admits something few can deny. When Pacquiao steps forward, logic fades and the
Who
crowd
right now, though,
believes
could he
again.
fight?
We have. I haven't let him choose anyone yet, but it's just his heart has. He said he wants one more fight, and then his wife called me up and says, "Don't let him fight, don't let him fight." And I try to be on her side and so forth. But like when a man in the sport wants to fight, sometimes he's gonna fight. Yeah, I agree with you.
Former opponents.
That's Rogan's dilemma. As an analyst, he sees danger. As a fan, he hopes for one last miracle. Because if Pacquiao wins, the sport won't know what to do. A 46-year-old world champion beating a prime fighter would flip the division upside down and force boxing to rethink
I was scared out of my
everything.
mind.
Scared of what?
Of him. How hard does he punch? How fast is he? You see it on film, but it's different when you're in there actually fighting them.
Sure.
It's completely different. They were like bullets. They literally like Manny Pacquiao when he would throw. Everything is just all stiff, sharp punches, fast, quick feet.
A Pacquiao victory wouldn't just shake rankings. It would halt the future in its tracks. Meanwhile, at Wild Card Gym, Freddie Roach watches him closely, proud yet concerned. Their bond is carved by decades of battles.
I don't know. I'm just worried for him. You made the biggest point on this discussion in this segment, which is health.
Yeah.
Because Barrios is...
Former rivals like Timothy Bradley admit Pacquiao remains a rare challenge. His speed, timing, and movement are still sharp enough to trouble anyone. Even outside boxing, the Philippines is uniting behind him. Communities are planning watch events, flights are adjusting schedules, and social media is flooded with support and nostalgia.
The one and only current WBA welterweight champion of the world, Manny.
This fight is bigger than belts and rankings. It's about resilience, passion, and defying the limits placed on aging athletes. Whether he wins or loses, Pacquiao has already reignited global excitement and reminded the world why boxing still matters.
With 8 different weight classes, world titles in 8 different weight classes. 40 years old, beats Keith Thurman.
Because legends don't just retire. They echo through time. As Pacquiao walks to the ring, his son watches backstage. Fans pray in the stands, and broadcasters fall silent. Everyone knows they're witnessing the closing pages of an era.